Currently, all telephone users, both landline and mobile, pay into the Universal Service Fund. This federally mandated fee is denoted by an FUSC charge on your phone bill, which stands for Federal Universal Service Charge. Well, that makes sense, right? I bought the phone and I own it, but I pay a small monthly fee in order to have continued access to the network. This, in turn, allows me to communicate with anyone, anywhere in the nation who also owns a phone. The user fee is utilized to enhance and maintain the network, and a phone isn't much good without a network. But wait a second, you may ask. Didn't you say earlier in this series that USF money is also used to build the broadband network too? Does this mean that internet users also pay a fee to support the network? These are reasonable questions with a rather surprising answer. No, USF money is used to build the broadband network. However, broadband users do not pay into the fund. Things become even more confounding when we consider that this group of users who do not pay includes titanic commercial entities such as Netflix, Skype, Hulu, and many others, whose entire businesses rely on the communications network to deliver their services. The policy standpoint that seeks to include these video service providers and others in the list of contributors to the Universal Service Fund is known as contributions reform. This is a tricky topic where we must be careful not to make big corporations pay for network usage only to have them pass the cost on to the consumer. This would defeat the purpose of making all users pay. The point is that these companies use the networks for free and make money from their usage, while others fund the network development and maintenance. This notion of disallowing cost to be passed on to the consumer is crucial. Nobody wants to tax the internet. Any legislation or regulation that addresses this topic must emphatically stress this principle. In fact, in one piece of legislation that was drafted in 2019, known as the Rural Broadband Network Advancement Act, for which you may find a link below, this very idea was implemented. While it may not be easy to iron out the perfect solution, we must at least begin to have this conversation earnestly because the current system is not only unfair, it is unsustainable. Before we move on to the final episode, I'd like to restate that the information contained in this series is simplified for common consumers who don't have a background in telecommunications policy. If you find yourself scratching your head, don't worry. This stuff can be tricky even for the experts. However, as complicated as it all may be, there are some common sense principles that hold true and should be applied fairly across the board. One of these principles is that all users of the network should pay for the network. Currently, the consumer has been paying for network usage for decades, but giant internet-based corporations that make their money from the same network pay nothing for it. This must change. To learn more about what you can do to reform the current system, click on the link to our final episode. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.